Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. It's Friday. It's the 30th of September, and gosh, it's almost October. But even though it's getting a little cold outside, we're keeping it warm inside. All the great thoughts, all the great ideas, and we're getting the inspiration from some wonderful speakers as we move along through the semester. This is the Friday Ambassador Workshop Series for the Hostos Student Leadership Academy. My name is Jason Lipfeld. I'm the coordinator for student leadership development at Hostos Community College. And today we have my good friend Mars Bishop. He's excited to be here. This is the second time he's joining us. He joined us last year for the first time and made a big impression on a lot of people that were participating in those workshops. And his workshop today is going to expand on some of the stuff that we talked about last week and bring us into the next stage of the whole game and this development of becoming the leaders that you want to be. So it's mindset is everything, and I'm going to turn it over to our good friend Mars Bishop. Mars, have a great event, and I'm here to support you. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you so much. It is definitely a pleasure to have this opportunity of coming back. It's good to know that the first session left an impression on the students. I do focus on trying to make the most out of the time that we spend. So I want to make a deep impression to make an impact. My goal is to help you improve your performance so you can maximize your potential. Um, I'm not really like the traditional type of dude who wants to sit here and just speak and just, talk to you. I think that you guys get enough of that within your daily class sessions and stuff like that. So I like to be interactive. I like to engage. I love to have fun. I've been doing this over the course of 10 years. I've had the opportunity of tapping into my purpose and to what I believe God has called me to do. And I have been doing this and I've traveled across the country. I started out speaking in high schools. I wanted to level up. I started speaking in colleges, I believe in like 2018, 2019. And it's really good to have the opportunity of being able to influence and impact people such as yourselves. So like I said, I'm not gonna sit here. I don't want to bore you. I want to be able to interact with you. So if there's anything that you want to know, just come off mute. You don't have to raise your hand. I can't see everybody. So just come off mute and just, let's have an open dialogue. I believe that is the best way to make a connection. I do believe in true transparency. I'm so transparent. I would give you everything about me, who I am, where I started from, what put me in this position, how I was able to cultivate my mindset to go from a fixed mindset to what I do now. And I believe that that's number one as far as trying to be a leader, because a leader is not about a position or a title. As we all know, leadership is about influence, whether it's negative or positive. Anyone on here has the ability to be a leader and influence anybody and make the biggest impact, whether if it's small or big. It all starts with you as an individual for what you want to do. Does that make sense, guys? And ladies, I know we all on here together, so I want to be respectful to everybody that's on here. Cool?
Yes.
All right. I will ask you this one thing. Just everybody mute your phones because I get the feedback on my side. All right. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about me. Originally, I was born in New York. I was actually born in Long Island. Um I grew up in a tumultuous background. At the age of 5 years old, I was diagnosed with having sickle cell anemia. I grew up in a household of domestic violence. Watching my mother get abused verbally, physically, was one of the worst things that I believe an individual can grow up watching. And then to find out in my latter years that out of that abuse, I really am a product of rape from that whole situation, from that whole scenario. So over the course of my life, I carried the biggest burden. I carried the biggest chip on my shoulder, where really I hated myself because of I felt everything that happened to me was a negative connotation. I looked at it as being a curse instead of it being something that could put me in a position of sharing my story to help impact other individuals, to show them that no matter where you come from, you have the ability to grow and cultivate yourself if you choose to. So, um, like I said, I grew up in that type of environment for pretty much my entire life. My mother went into the military, so we left New York when I was about maybe 5 years old after getting the diagnosis that I had sickle cell anemia. And the way that that came about is that I actually almost died. My red blood cells, they dropped so low that the doctor told my mother that I needed to have an emergency blood transfusion, and she didn't even know that she was a sickle cell trait carrier. So my entire life has been one going in and out of the hospital, dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of affliction, a lot of misfortune that I thought it was. But yet I negated to see the strength that it was actually giving me through that whole process. Um, at the age of 22 years old, I moved down to California after graduating high school. I moved to California with aspirations of being a rapper. At that time, my influence was mostly Pac. It wasn't so much Biggie. It was more so Pac. And I thought that everything that you had to do within your life to be a rapper consisted of you doing it, living that life. So I found myself down in Inglewood, California. I found myself around true gangbangers. My homeboys came from the Inglewood families, from Avenue Paru. So I really was in the midst of all the gang activity. Um, but there came a time when I had to let all that go. And the reason why I say I had to let all that go is because when I was in that mindset of detriment, I really was trying to kill myself, because nobody really understood all the pain that I would go through on a daily basis. Nobody understood all the trauma that I still carried. Nobody understood how much I hated myself. So I acquired my first stroke at the age of 22. Now, at that time, I thought like, okay, I really didn't know what to think, to be honest with you. I really didn't know how to accept it, how to embrace it. I just knew that at that time I wanted to die, and that I can remember being 8 years old asking God, please kill me. Like, why would you put me in this type of situation and I have to go through all the pain that I have to go through? Why would I have to see all the abuse that I saw at an early age? Right? So that was basically everything that I went through. So when I talk from a place of pain, when I talk from a place of depression, when I talk from a place of anxiety, when I talk from a place of apathy, it's because I've been in these places. And sometimes I still find myself going back into that mindset of being depressed, sometimes still being anxious, sometimes still having apathy. And apathy just means that you have like nothing matters to you, so you have this attitude of like it doesn't care, like I don't care, like it doesn't matter, like whatever it is going to be what it is. But we understand that going forward, there's nothing that we can do with that mindset of saying like I don't care. There's nothing that we can do if we're still holding on to anxiety and feeling overwhelmed about our environment, or if we find ourselves in a state of depression. So everything that comes from me is actually because I lived through that and I found a way how to get out of that. And that's why I say mindset is everything, because the 6 inches between your ears is the only battlefield that you will ever fight on. It doesn't matter what you go through. If you can't, if you can't control your thoughts, or if you can't find a way to get out of the negative place that you're in, then you will always stay in that one place. And that one place will always be the thing that tears you up, the one thing that eats you up. And that's important for leadership, because um, a leader can either build a person or they can tear a person down, depending on their mindset. You ever heard the phrase hurt people hurt people? I was in that place of being in a very toxic mindset. Like I was so poisoned. So the people around me, like I really was hurting. Like I really was damaging my family, my mother, my daughter's mother. The reason why we didn't get married is because my mindset at that time, like it was just like, whatever, you know. And like I had made a comment prior to everybody coming on. I was just in New York a week ago, and I had an opportunity of spending time with my daughter and my son-in-law. And you know, as I was looking around, it was just like, I don't know if I would ever want to live in New York again, because the mindset from the way that I see it, and I'm only talking about from my perspective. I'm not saying from anybody else's perspective. So don't take what I'm saying as being negative. I'm only sharing my true feelings with you. It would just seem like everybody had such a, they was in a rush, like to do something, or they just had a chip on their shoulder, like they were just mad about something. And like the first night that I got there, I recalled that I left my cell phone charger, and I told my daughter, I said, Mari, we got to go to the store because I need to get a charger. And when we went to Walmart, there was a guy who was in the electronic part, and I could see, you know, that he was dealing with some traumas as well, as far as like physical injury. I don't know if he had a stroke. I don't know if he was born like that. I'm not sure what it was, but I could relate to him because I know what it is when you have your arm in atrophy. I know what it is when, you know, people may look at you differently, or when, you know what I'm saying, people might think like, oh, what's wrong with this guy? So, you know, with me being here in Georgia, it has really helped me to acquire a different perspective, to look at things from not from a negative, but to look at things from the solution. And I asked the gentleman, I said, how's your day going? And I think it kind of took him to the left a little bit, because I don't think like he was used to people asking him how his day is going. And I was like, just trying to spark a little small conversation. And my daughter took it as far as like me trying to troll him, like I was trying to like bother him or something like that. So she was like, Dad, you can't just come here with your southern mentality and, you know, just be bothering people. And I was like, it took me like, hold on, why does my mindset have to be a southern mindset versus being a New York mindset? I said, Mari, for one, I don't never want to go back to a New York mindset, because the New York mindset that I had is what brought me down here to Georgia. When I say that, I was looking at doing 5 to 20 for first degree robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and larceny. Um, so that was the reason that I ended up down here in Georgia anyway, because when my grandfather posted bond, he put up his house so that I could get bonded out. And my mother came up with $10,000 to put on the books, or to pay for me to get bonded out. So when I came down to Georgia, I was worth a house and $10,000. So, you know, for her to make that statement was like, it kind of just really took me to the left. And it was like, I've cultivated and grown out of that mindset, because I never want to go back into the mindset of where I feel like I gotta be angry, or where I feel I can't talk to somebody, or where I feel I gotta shut down because of something, you know, because of my environment. And it just was like, this is not what I want to do. You know what I mean? So being here in Georgia is one of those things where it has been a gift and a curse. I'm be honest with you. I'm really not fond of Georgia. I really don't like Georgia, but I'm appreciative of what Georgia has allowed me to do, because I know if I was in New York, I'd still be running with the same people. I'd still be doing the same thing. If I wasn't dead, if I wasn't in jail, I'd be doing the same thing. So, you know, when I say mindset is everything, you have to remember that this right here is the most powerful tool that you have, but it's the most underused. We don't use our mind to its fullest capacity. So with that being said, let me jump right into it. There's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Somebody tell me, on a fixed mindset, what's relatable to you as far as where you see yourself in a fixed mindset? If anybody has one, just come off mute. Let's talk.
Why, hello. I assume when you say fixed mindset, you mean like inflexible, not willing to learn new things or try new things. Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. Meaning that you feel like you're not good enough, meaning that you think that you don't have what it takes to do whatever it is that you want to do. So yes, sir, that's exactly what I mean.
Hi, my name is Bwampundi. For me, I think someone with a fixed mindset is someone who always say maybe never. Like for him, he, he's never give himself a chance to try new thing. Like his mind is already like, oh, never. And I like when people speak and they say, oh, never say never. Because, you don't, when you don't know something, don't put a blank thing in yourself and don't be open to learn. You need to always be open. Even is your fear and you really feel to go there, you need to be at least a little bit open if someone take your hand for you to jump in to see what is in oversight.
Okay, so what you saying that, is there anything on the fixed mindset side that you see that you have done yourself where you have might have told yourself that there was something that you couldn't do, or you allowed your fear or your doubt to stop you from stepping out on faith and saying that regardless whatever the outcome is, I'm gonna do it anyway?
Yes. For me,
Okay.
I'm from West Africa, and my primary language there is French. And when I came here, like it took me like almost, I can say, 5 years to go back to school because I was having a fixed mindset. Then, oh, English is no for me. Oh no, the English I speak, I cannot go to college with this English. It was that mindset I was having, and it took me 5 years to be able to say, oh no. Like people was talking to me, oh, you can go, you have this thing, you can just like, but I cannot listen. It's something who coming with yourself. Like you need to decide deep inside yourself. And when you take that decision, even it's hard in front of you, there is nothing who will make you go back but the decision coming from yourself. But it took me, I do think the fixed mindset is not that good at all. It's lock you down, and it took me 5 years. Like I was locked in a room, cannot get out, but I'm glad that I get out.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? How has a fixed mindset disabled you from doing whatever it is that you want to do, whether it be fear, doubt, disbelief? Like, what is it in you that you feel on the fixed mindset that you need to overcome?
Mind if I go? You can go. You can go.
Ladies first, ladies first. I'm gonna come back to you, Jose. I got you. I got you. Ladies first,
Well,
come on.
thank you. My name is Mariela Sandor. About the mindset is really more about also your mental health. So mental health is the most important thing. So if you have a good mental health, you can really do a good mindset. And now that after hearing your discussion, I really do believe most of the New Yorker work would be mad due to everything, to the weather, to anything that happened around it. Now people are mad about what happened with the EMT woman, and it's a lot. And if we keep a good mindset, we're not gonna let nobody take over us. We're gonna do better. We can do better for our children. And really having a good mindset and keeping the mental health is really what make us do more and better every day.
You're absolutely right. So really quick before I go to Jose, um, tell me your name one more time. Mariella. I'm sorry, I don't mean to mess up your name
Yes,
by far. Okay, so
Mariela
Mariella.
Sandor.
All right, so you say mental health. Tell me a little bit more about the mental health piece because that is what is that's what's stopping a lot of students, not even students, that's what's stopping people, period. Because when I was growing up, mental health was not talked about. Nobody was talking about depression, nobody was talking about anxiety, nobody was talking about apathy. Nobody was talking about, you know, suicide. Nobody, it just was a conversation, almost like nobody was talking to their kids about sex when I was growing up. So tell me a little bit more about the mental health piece that you're referring to, because that is a big part of a fixed mindset.
Yeah, so mental health is also everything. So some people are weak in a way that they are afraid to talk. Like for example, me, I'm just gonna say something quick about me. I lost my only son 5 months ago. It's
Mm,
sad, it hurts. Cancer is the worst. And I have like some people ask me, why you keep doing classes? And I said, because I have a constant battle, and which is to keep my mental health stable. Some people have said to me, if it was me, I would have killed myself already. I said, don't tell that to me. And I'm sorry, I cannot listen to your opinion. And I walk away from that person. When I
yes,
feel overwhelmed, when I feel anything, I just go to someone that I know I can listen. Sometimes I don't find a good person that listens to me. I talk to myself. I go in a place where I can breathe, a place where I can find water, or I just, read books. Nobody read books anymore. And mental health is that everything. If you have a good mental health, you can do anything.
yes,
If
ma'am.
you need help, there's always someone that will help you. Sometimes we believe, oh, like nobody's gonna help me, nobody's there. There's a lot of places. Hostos provide a lot of let's say the counseling service. They're very good. The librarian, you can talk to anybody, even to the professor.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And family, sometimes family, a little bit, when they're not educated or when you're the first one like me, first college generation, that they're a little behind in education. But there's always someone. There's
Yes,
always
ma'am.
someone to talk, and there's always, you get it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, let me say my condolences to the loss of your son. I know that that's not easy. You know, I couldn't even imagine what you're going through as far as like the pain that you feel. But it is good that you know that you use the resources that's available to you through Ostos, and you know that you see the fact of the importance of reaching out to the counselors, you know, not allowing yourself to stay in that place of negativity. It's even good that you walk away from people when they have that negative conversation with you. So I want to commend you on that very much.
Yes, thank you.
You know, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Jose, did I say it right?
Yeah, you did, you did. That's
Okay.
good.
My my
So
my
yes,
son, my son-in-law, his name is Josue.
Josue, yeah, I get
Yeah.
people getting mixed up a lot. People tend to call me that as well. But
Okay. Okay.
it's
Go
Jose,
ahead.
you said it right. So yeah, for me, fixed mindset has played a big role in my life. I'm a person who personally, I don't think I lack confidence, but when it comes to trying something new, I kind of shut down and tell myself that I can't do it for some reason. And that's something that has been a theme, like it's a reoccurring theme in my life. And it's kind of hard for me to step outside of my comfort zone and try something new.
Okay. Okay. How do you like when you find yourself in that place of, let's say it's pretty much doubt. I'm not gonna say it's lack of confidence because it sounds like you have great confidence. But when you find yourself in that place of doubt, how do you challenge yourself? How do you push yourself to get out of that headspace?
It's just a thing of getting myself in the door first. I have to get myself to do it. I have to convince myself to try something new, and then from there, kind of notice it's not really that much of a big deal. It's something that I'm gaining from, so it's not something that's hurting me. So it doesn't really hurt to just try something new. So I just take the approach of just going ahead and doing it, even though I might feel awkward or weird at first, but I know that eventually it's gonna pay off.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, my question for the three that shared, I'll, you know, just for time's sake, I want to just keep it with the three that have shared. And really quick, how can you take the fact of that fixed mindset, the way that you overcome the fixed mindset? How can you transfer that into a growth mindset for your studies, for like what you're going to school for? You know, so you can accomplish your to getting your degree. How can that play a big part in your studies? And we'll start with the ladies first before we come to Jose.
Me, Mariela, always say that I can do this. if you, like, for example, me, if I feel frustrated with an assignment, what I do is that I go to another assignment. First, I do my to-do list. I look which is the hardest, which is the easiest. If I feel like the harder one is too hard, I just stop, read, drink some water, coffee, juice. I go to the easy assignment, and then while I'm doing the other assignment, I'm like, oh, I have an idea for the other one that's hard, and it's gonna ease my mind. And I go back to the hard one and keep doing it.
Exactly, exactly. So that's actually great, because you just said something. You said that you come up with an idea, right? So basically, your mind has the ability to create everything that you want, whether it be, because there's a quote that comes from Albert Einstein. He says that imagination is everything. It's the preview for the coming attraction of your life. So if you're stuck in a fixed mindset, and you keep telling yourself, you give into your doubt or your fears, and you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, then you're going to start to believe it. And at that point, you start to give up and you start to quit. But if you have an imagination and you know how to use it effectively, then you know how to create the outcomes that you actually want. And the outcomes that you actually want, they start out intangible, but the more that you work at them and the more that you put forth the effort, they become they become tangible on the outside, where you could touch it, where you could grab it. So you're making the intangible tangible. So if you see yourself saying that I want to get on the dean's list, or you see yourself saying that I want to graduate magna cum laude or summa cum laude, is that not something that you're imagining yourself and you're telling yourself, I can actually do this? But you understand that it's going to require for you to put forth the work, because it's just that fixed mindset that's trying to say no. But the growth mindset is telling you that you're willing to learn new things and you're eager to take the risk, right? And let me tell y'all this just really quick. This is something that I found out just off of my last when I came. We went to the Empire State Building. Now, when we went, Amari was playing. That's my daughter's name, Amari. She was playing, saying like, "Oh, Dad, they have this glass floor. When you go, you can see everything down to the bottom or whatever." So it was like I was kind of fooling myself, and I was like, "Okay, well, I don't want to see that." So, the more that I went to the state building, it was just like, okay, I'm looking for this glass floor. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm already got a fear of heights. That's not something that I want to look down. So when we actually got into the elevator to go up to the 86th floor, there was no glass floor. And I was like, Mari, what happened? You told me that there was supposed to be a glass floor. She was like, Dad, I was just messing with you. So, you know what I'm saying? The things that people tell us, they can put us into that state of believing our own innate fears, our own innate inabilities, and make us want to quit. But when I got up to the 86th floor and I had the opportunity of really looking out and looking at the New York skyline, it was like the most beautiful thing I could ever see. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that if you have a goal and you imagine it in your mind, and that seed is planted for what you want, if you're willing to go through the fears and the doubt, and you put yourself in a position of getting up to the 86th floor, you can look out and see the skyline and you see the most beautiful view. So never allow yourself to be stopped because somebody may tell you that you can't do this, or somebody may tell you that your English is not good, or somebody may tell you that, hey, I would have quit because of this, or somebody's telling you like, a lack of confidence. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people in this world that will put their fears on you. So never allow anybody to dump their fears onto your beliefs, because then at that point in time, they start to poison what it is that you want. Like when I first started this, I didn't believe that I was good enough. Who would sit and who would listen to, me? I don't have any formal education. I don't have any degrees. I think, I do have a degree. I have a degree in medical billing and coding. But I'm going to tell you this, my life degree overrides every degree that any individual can get, because I have a PhD in life. I have a master's in going through pain. I have a master's in going through affliction. I have a master's in looking at the positive side of what life can offer me. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have stayed believing to myself like, oh, I can't do this, then I would have only been given into that fixed mindset to say that I'm not good enough. But I want you to know that everybody has the ability of doing whatever it is that you want to accomplish because you are good enough. And never let nobody tell you that you aren't good enough. Never let nobody tell you what you cannot do, because I'm here to let you know, and I'm here to show and prove to you that you can do everything that you set out to accomplish. All right. So I can't see that. What's that say? Somebody tell me what's that say? It's okay. What are mental blocks? I can see it. What are mental blocks? Y'all know what mental blocks are?
No.
Okay. Mental blocks are the things that try to stop you from doing what it is that you want, right? So look at a mental block as, let me see, I'm trying to make it relevant. Was there, okay, we all know what roadblocks are, right? We all see them. New York is infamous for having like roadblocks, right or wrong. Like, especially if it's on the Belt Parkway, if it's on the LIE, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, there's always some type of roadblock. So on your journey to whatever it is that you're striving to accomplish, you're gonna come across some mental blocks. Mental blocks are those things that tell you, almost like a fixed mindset, that you're not good enough, right? So the mental blocks are the things that try to keep you from accomplishing. You ever heard when they say a person who wants to be a writer, he comes up with writer block, and he can't like finish his book or finish a sentence or finish whatever it is because he has some type of mental block, right? So mental blocks are basically these things that we go through. Like you heard me say apathy. Does anybody really know what apathy is?
Like empathy.
Yeah.
Apathy, not like empathy, but
That's the
apathy.
inverse of empathy. Apathy is the inverse of empathy. Is I'm not wrong?
No, apathy means basically like it doesn't matter. Like you have a lack of concern, like you're not engaging.
Exactly,
So,
that's the inverse of empathy. Empathy is when you care, when you feel for others, and
okay.
apathy is when you don't care.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, so then you had it right. You're absolutely right. It's the opposite of empathy. You're absolutely right. So sometimes that can be a mental block for a lot of us. Let me just tell you, when I was in school, that was like my lack of concern by me not engaging into like my lesson and like reading. I know Mariella talked about reading, like a lot of people don't read. Like I hated reading when I was in high school. And because of that lack of me engaging or taking on that specific activity for a long time, it put me in a place of like not caring. So that put me in a place of not having good grades, not engaging in class because I didn't know what was going on. I've come to find out, like, the only reason I didn't know what was going on is because I wasn't privy of the information. I didn't have the knowledge of what it was. And you know, the more that I started doing this right here, I understood that in order for me to articulate myself, it took for me to have to learn a whole lot of different things. It took for me to have to read. It took for me to have to get out of that broken mindset of saying like, no, I wasn't going to feed my mind, or no, I wasn't going to make myself a better version of who I was. You know what I'm saying? So the apathy that I had at that time, it stopped me from moving forward. But there's 3 words that I want to share with you guys. I call it the Q. It's K, and you guys can write this down. It's K U W. Let me know when you're ready to move on.
Ready.
All right. So the K is for knowledge. Without the knowledge, you don't have the information. Without the information, you can't engage intellectually. So that means that you're going to withdraw, or you're going to be, you ever heard a person say, I'm an introvert? You're only an introvert because of the fact that you don't know what's going on, or the fact that you don't think that you're good enough. And that comes from the fact of you're not knowledgeable about the topic or the situation. So knowledge is the information, right? Then we go to the U. The U is understanding. When you gain the understanding, you have the comprehension. When you comprehend, that means that you know what's going on, so therefore you're willing to engage. It's an open dialogue. So now you feel more confident about sharing your opinion. You feel more confident about what's coming out of your mouth, because now you know that you have the knowledge and the information that actually makes it a more beneficial conversation, right? So the knowledge gives you information, the understanding gives you comprehension. The W, you ready?
Yes.
The W is for
Yes.
the wisdom. The W is for the wisdom. The wisdom means that you can now apply it, because now it's something that you have done over and over again. So now you know that if you move forward with it, you can apply it, and it puts you in a position of knowing exactly what it is that you're doing. So it's first you got to get the knowledge. The knowledge is going to give you the information. The information is going to cause you to engage. Once you engage, you can now have the understanding of what it is that you're doing. Once you have the understanding of what you're doing, you have the comprehension. The comprehension leads you to the wisdom. The wisdom gives you the application of being able to go out and do it. And that's what stops most people, is because their lack of engaging, their lack of concern. You're only disengaged and you have no concern because of the fact that you don't know what's going on, right? So that's one thing. And when you have the apathy as far as a mental block, the next thing it does is it overwhelms you, because now you're trying to figure out what's going on. So now you're feeling overwhelmed because you can't keep up. And that was one of the things that I really felt bad about, is that I couldn't keep up when I was at a younger age, because I grew up with this, they called it a physical disability. Growing up with sickle cell anemia is not one of the easiest things in the world to grow up with, because you never really understand, why am I always in a hospital? Why can't I keep up with the other people? Why can't I play sports the way that other kids play sports? Why do I always why do I always feel exhausted? Why do I always feel like I have to take a breath or sit down? So it's overwhelming. And anything that overwhelms you, it starts to put your mind in this position or this state that you want to withdraw. And anytime that you withdraw from anything, the next thing that is going to lead to is, the number one thing is depression. Depression is where you feel hopeless. You tell yourself that you're not good enough. You tell yourself that you're not willing to do this, because you're in this state where you try to, just fall back. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I was in that state before I went to New York. By me being a person who has 2 strokes, there's a thing, because my brain was compromised, because my brain went through a traumatic experience, and trauma means a disordered psychic behavioral state that stems from mental distress or physical injury. And I've been through a lot of physical distress, and I've been through a lot of physical injuries. So with me going through that, there's a thing that's called post-stroke depression. And if I'm not cautious enough, if I'm not able to recognize when I'm in that place of feeling overwhelmed, or if I'm in that place of withdrawal, if I'm in that place of saying like I want to give up, or I'm feeling hopeless, I find myself in a place of depression. And the way that I found myself of getting out of that depression is like you can do anything else in life. You have to engage. So back in 2020, I challenged myself and I said, Mars, I want to see how much of your arm you can really get back. So in 2020, I started working out and I started going to the gym. I was in there in the beginning 5 days a week. I was in there from 5 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning. And I started doing it on a continual basis till it became a lifestyle. So just last year, I cut it down from 5 days a week to 3 days a week. But it's not just the physical health that I'm working on. And since I've been going to the gym, my arm has dropped tremendously from being in a state of atrophy. When it was, atrophy is when it's like this, when it's immobilized and it's not really moving. So by me being consistent, by me having the knowledge and the information, the understanding and the comprehension of what I was going through, I was now taking the wisdom to apply and put myself in a position of doing something about it. You can't change a circumstance or a situation if you're not willing to do anything about it. So now my arm has dropped, it's out of atrophy. I'm still working on getting it completely out of atrophy. But at the same time, I strengthen my mind, I strengthen my mentality because I focus on how can I look at the solution. I'm not worried about the challenge. If you know what the challenge is in your life, then don't focus on the challenge, focus on the solution. Because if you focus on the solution, you know that you're not going to stay in that state of apathy, anxiety, or depression any longer. So now you're finding a way to put yourself in a mindset of saying, like, I'm going into a growth mindset. I'm not going to allow my doubt and my fears to hold me back. I'm not going to allow anything to stop me. And a lot of us, we don't achieve what it is that we want because when we find ourselves facing some type of adversity, some type of misfortune, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to end up stopping, we're going to end up quitting, and we're not going to go all the way through. Let me tell you something. Life has a process to it. The process is a set of small actions necessary to achieve the particular result that you're striving to accomplish. That's all life is about. Life is about the process. You have to go through the redundancy of doing it over and over. It's actually called mastering the mundane. So if you want to overcome the mental blocks that you're in, you have to find yourself, you have to challenge yourself every single day. How am I going to get better with my studies? How am I going to get better with my test taking? How am I going to get better with my midterms? How am I going to tell myself that I want to be a better leader? How am I going to tell myself? Because if I lead myself first, the next thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to set the example for everybody to follow because I have the knowledge, the information, the understanding, and I'm putting forth the wisdom to apply it. So therefore, I'm going to gain more people around me that I can show them how to actually come out of those mental places that's actually being a detriment to them, that's holding them back. And once you can do that, the next thing that you actually do is you find yourself doing this. You changing the narrative. Somebody come off mute and tell me that you're comfortable in the state that you're in right now, like you don't want nothing else for your life. Somebody tell me that you're comfortable where you are.
I'm not.
Exactly. There's not a person in this life that wants to stay where they are. Nobody in this life wants to stay at the bottom because the bottom is a monotonous and dreary place for everybody. Everybody in this life wants something more. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. You want something else. Does anybody on this call want to be on the dean's list? Does anybody want to graduate magna cum laude? Does anybody want to graduate summa cum laude? Does anybody want to see themselves get to the level of what they want?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yes, I am.
So you have to change the narrative, and right now is the time to change the narrative. You're the only one that can change the narrative to your story because you are the author of your own story. So let me ask you this. Do you want your book that you're writing to be on the New York Times bestseller list? Or do you want your book to just sit on the shelf when people walk by and they say, oh, I didn't even know he had a book? Or you could be somebody that when they come by and they say, oh, she's on the New York Times bestseller list. And when I mean the bestsellers list, I mean that you are operating at a level that's optimal, that you're in rhythm with what you were created to do. What you're in school for, you're actually doing it. Instead of just getting that degree, sitting it on your shelf and dusting it off every weekend and say, oh, look at what I accomplished. When you know that really you haven't accomplished much of anything because you're still in the same place that you were when you started. So therefore, you have the ability to change the narrative, and right now is the time to change the narrative to your life. And if you're not willing to put forth the effort, if you're not willing to put forth what it takes to do it, then you're actually going to stay in that same place. Let me tell y'all a quick story. So I have an uncle. My uncle is my man, 100 grand. Like I rocks with him, right? So my uncle now lives in Sacramento, California. My whole family is from New York, but they all migrated and they moved to other places. So my uncle is in Sacramento, California. And when I was in LA, at the time when I was in LA, he was building his real estate company. So I would go and visit him every so often from LA to Sacramento, and that's an 8-hour drive. But about a couple months ago, we was having a conversation. I said, what do I need to do to become better within my speaking? Because I see that whatever you did worked for your real estate company. Now, my uncle, he's not a man who's going to give you many words. He's not going to give you this big, profound type of statement. He's not going to tell you something compelling. He's going to give it to you raw and uncut. And that's what I love about him. My uncle said, nephew, all you have to do is just focus on the basics. So what are the basics that you need to focus on? All he was saying was that he said, I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the best realtor. I'm not the best salesman. He said, and I'll be honest with you, there was a point in time in my life when I wasn't the best father. He said, all I did was just work at the basics. I did it over and over and over again. I mastered the mundane. So if you really want to change the narrative to your life, you have to do it over and over again, no matter how many times you fail, no matter how many times you might get a bad marking on that test. You have to go over the information again and again and again. Master the mundane. Do it again. Because here's the thing, when you fail, you didn't lose anything, did you? No, you gained something. You gained a lesson. It taught you what you messed up on. So when they give you back your paper, they give you back the markings that show where you messed up, right or wrong. And when you go through this life will show you where you messed up. You can keep doing the same thing over and over again. You think I want to keep doing the same thing over and over again that caused me to have 2 strokes? You think I want to do the same thing over and over again that caused me looking at 5 to 20 that took me away from my daughter, that left her in New York by herself? You think I want to do the same things over and over again? I failed, but at the same time, I learned. I learned how to become a better father. I learned how to become a better son. I learned how to become a better individual because I started to master who I am as an individual. I started to master myself. There is no outside opponent. The only person that can stop you is the inner me. The inner me is your enemy. And that's the one that's telling you that you can't do something. That's the one that's telling you that you have doubt, fear, and anxiety. That's the one that's putting you in a place of apathy. That's the one that is sitting right now in a place of depression because he's waiting on you to cultivate him so that he can get out of there, so he can get on the New York Times bestseller list instead of sitting on the shelf saying, damn, when am I going to get an opportunity to do something with my life? You are the author of your own story. So boom. Create the concept that you want. What is the concept you want for your life? I just told you, your concept is your imagination. Let me tell you something that George Bernard Shaw said. George Bernard Shaw said, life's not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. How many times have you heard somebody say, oh, I'm just trying to find out who I am? How many times have you ever been lost in a place where you said, oh, I'm trying to find where I am? Here's the thing. You're not lost. You know where you are at all times. You know that you're right here at, I have troubles pronouncing the name of the college. Is it Hostos, Hostos? Tell somebody, help me with the name of the college.
You said it right the first time.
Hostos. Okay. Yeah. So you all know that you at Hostos Community College, right? Ain't nobody on this call lost. Ain't nobody on this call trying to find themselves. You know where you are. The problem is that you're trying to find out how to create the opportunity that you want. I was having a conversation with my daughter one time, and she kind of upset at me. She really pissed me off when I had this conversation with her. And she was like, Dad, I'm out here in I'm not going to say the wilderness, but she was like, I'm out here in you know, around like life or nature or stuff like that. She was like, I go on these nature hikes to try to find myself. And I was like, Mari, first and foremost, you're not lost. You know where you are. The thing is that you're trying to find out how to create the opportunity that you want. What is the concept that you want for your life? What is the imagination that you have? What is the forethought or the vision that you have for your life? Because it's right there. That one thing sits right here, is dormant. I remember one time Dr. Miles Monroe said, God places your purpose somewhere deeply inside you that you can't mess it up. You can't tarnish your purpose. It's already there. The thing about it is you got to be willing to jump into the abyss of who you are, because the inner thought and the heart of man are both deep. If you're willing to jump into the abyss of who you are as an individual and go get what it is that you want for your life, you're going to come up with some bruises. You're going to come up with some scars. You're going to come up with some challenges. You're going to come up with some things that try to make you stop. But I want you to understand this, that if you keep going, that if you keep challenging yourself, that if you keep pushing yourself, there's nothing that you cannot accomplish. There's nothing that you cannot create. There's no concept that you can tell yourself that, oh, I'm not good enough, or I have doubt, I have fear. Guess what? Everybody in this life has doubt, has fear, has some type of negative connotation that's attached to them. So there's no person in this life that is perfect, because we all come from the dirt and we all will go return to the dirt. So there's nothing that you cannot achieve. If you're willing to put forth the effort, you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. And that's why mindset is everything, because the next one is this: ideas create the tangibles. Every idea that you have creates something. So if you have an idea right now and you say, let's just say your idea is to go get lunch, right? You want to go down to the corner bodega, you want to go get you a nice little sandwich or whatever. You create the idea that says that I want this. So you're manifesting what your mind is telling you. You're manifesting the fact that you feel hunger in your body. So therefore, you should be feeling that hunger to accomplish something greater. You should be feeling the ability to create that tangible thing that you want. So whatever it is, you have the ability to create that tangible. You have the ability to go above and beyond. The thing is that you stop because you feel like you're not good enough, because the world or the environment shows you something different. Let me tell you something. Get the hell off of social media. Come off of social media for 30 days, because everybody on social media is lying. Everybody on social media wants you to see the good part of their life. Everybody wants you to see the highlights. But who shows you when they in the dirt? Who shows you when they in the depth? So therefore, you are now comparing yourself to something that is a fallacy. Let me tell you, when I was a kid, that's called dry snitching. We get our butt kicked for dry snitching. You dry snitching every day because you feel you got to post where you are, because you got to show something that you're not even living. It's for the moment, but yet you're losing the moment that you're in because you want to show somebody something that you're making a facade. It's not real. None of social media is real, but yet it's got you believing that it is. You got to change the narrative. You got to create the tangible for what you want in your life. Comparison is the biggest detriment. If you comparison to anybody on here, guess what? You have just stopped yourself from doing what it is that you want to do, because they may not be doing it to their fullest, and they may be doing something that is taking them so far away from what it is that you want. So you're comparing yourself to saying, oh, I gotta look like this. My daughter, and Mari pissed me off when she did this. She hit me up one day. No, she actually came here. She came to Georgia for Father's Day. We spent 4 days together. We went out to breakfast one day, and she was like, "Dad, I'm gonna get a nose job." I was like, "Get a nose job for what?" I said, "Ain't nothing wrong with the way that you look. You're trying to redo the work that I did. How can you do that?" She was like, "Because I just don't like the way that I look." But you're comparing, what are you comparing yourself to? You're comparing yourself to what everybody else says, you know what I'm saying, you look like, or what everybody else is doing. So she told me, well, I got to fly to Turkey. Who the hell do you know that's in Turkey? Who's going to be there with you? You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me that you got to pay X amount of dollars to go to Turkey to get your nose done so that you can come back and look a certain way. Who are you comparing yourself to? Because baby girl, in my eyes, I see nothing but beauty. In my eyes, I see nothing but the thing that God blessed me with was the angel that he gave me. So I'm telling you, in the same way, you have to see exactly what God gave you, that gift, that talent, whatever it is, he placed it solely in you. Ashley, you could do something that Jose can't do. Jose, you could do something that Mariella can't do. Everybody on here has a specific gift. I promise you, you do. Everybody wasn't meant to do what the other person's doing, because if everybody's doing what the next person's doing, how are we moving forward? Because that just puts us in a cycle of redundancy. That puts us in a cycle of saying, okay, well, he did it, I can do it. That's incorrect. Denzel Washington said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. You got to go through the hardships in your life, because the hardships in your life is what makes you. The hardships in your life is what creates you. That's what gives you the strength. If I didn't have 2 strokes, would I be here right now talking to you? If I wasn't a 2-time stroke survivor, would I have learned what life needed me to teach, or what life needed me to learn? The name of my company is Life Inc., the Learning Institute for Experience. So that means that everything that I go through was all off of experience, no matter if it was good or if it was bad. I just took the experiences, the lessons from the experiences, and guess what? I put them into curriculums. I put them into workshops. I put them into keynotes. I put them into speaking life into other individuals, because now I'm walking in my purpose. Now I'm walking in my gift. Now I have created the tangible of what it was that was inside of me, of what I wanted to do, because the concept in my life, like I told you, I started out wanting to be a rapper. Right now I'm dropping one of the hottest freestyles on you. There ain't nobody can do what I'm doing, because this is the way that I do it. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to find out that natural ability of what it is that's going to change the narrative for your life, because I'm supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be in jail. I'm supposed to be wherever. But because of the fact that I still had another breath, because I had another opportunity, I took that opportunity and I changed the narrative, right? So I'm telling you, anytime that you wake up, you have an opportunity to change the narrative. You don't have to stay where you are. You're only staying where you are because of the fact that you're saying, like, okay, I want to be there. But everybody on this line just said that they weren't happy with the circumstances that you're in right now. So what are you going to do to change the circumstances that you're in? What are you going to do to change the narrative to get to the place where you want to be? So here's the next thing. High performance requires focus. What are you focused on? Like, somebody on this line, tell me, what's the one thing that you focus on? What's the one thing that you have a concept and imagination for?
Graduation.
Say that again, Mariella.
Graduation.
Graduation. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. What are you going to do after graduation?
Transfer to Lehman for nursing.
Transfer where?
To Lehman College for nursing.
Okay, so you're going on for nursing. Okay, so that means that are you operating at a high performance?
Yes.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. Somebody else tell me, what are you focused on once you tell me what you're focused on for your life.
Good grades.
Good grades. Okay. Are you performing at a high pace for the good grades? So if you say that you want good grades, your focus should be on the dean's list. Your focus should be on summa cum laude, magna cum laude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your GPA right now?
I don't know, but I think it's around 3.5, 3.6.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So that means that you are performing at a high pace. That means that you're doing what you need to do as far as turning in your assignments, taking your tests. That means that you're shutting out the negative connotations. That means that you're shutting out the outside world, that you're making a sacrifice to put time into your studies, right?
Yep.
Congratulations. Not a lot of people's doing that. Somebody else, tell me, what do you want for life?
Maintaining a good relationship with my family is kind of something I'm focusing on right now.
Okay.
They're away from, they're in New Orleans and I'm in New York, so I'm trying to balance everything out and talk to them as much as I can.
That's phenomenal. And I just want to let you know, I've been in that same place. Me and my mother, we had one of the rockiest relationships ever, right? Not even my mother. Let me keep it in the aspect of my daughter. When I came down to Georgia in 2004, my daughter was only 3 years old. So for about the first 10, all the way up till she was 13, my mother was flying back and forth to New York. She was bringing her here. I even got a two-bedroom condo when I was working for corporate America. I got a 2-bedroom condo so that she could come and, we could spend the summers, we could spend Christmas. I really was working on getting her 100%. But her mother threw a wrench in there, and somewhere we stopped speaking. So from 13 years old all the way up until she was 19, we had no contact. And I found a coach, and I got connected to a coach, and I was telling him about my daughter. Like, you guys can tell I love my daughter. You could tell, like, all the time, like, that's who I focus on. So he was like, bruh, focus on what matters most. And he was like, how often do you text her? And I was like, I text her, on her birthdays. I text her to Christmas. I text her, what I'm saying, on those special occasions. He was like, nah, text her every day. Even if she doesn't respond, you text her every day. So what I'm telling you is that when you make that your priority, you're gonna be amazed at the results that you get, Jose. You're gonna be amazed at what you accomplish. My mother, she wrote me off. Like my mother told me when I was about 21, she was like, you'll be dead by the time you're 22 if you keep living the way you live it. Right? So when I came here to Georgia, she didn't have the best outlook on me. She didn't have the best perspective for my life. And we kept butting heads. My mother has now become my biggest supporter. My mother now is the one who pushes me to do even more. My mother is the one that I could call her up and she's gonna drop everything because I put forth the energy. It's gonna take a lot of time. I don't know what your relationship status is with your family, but I want you to know that if you set the example for anything that you want them to follow you on, bruh, you can change the narrative. You can change everything about that relationship.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's gonna take a lot of work, but don't quit. Don't give up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Anybody else?
I just want a decent career, but I just can't figure out like what direction I want to go in. But hopefully I'll figure it out soon enough.
Okay. Tell me, you said you want, say that beginning part one more time.
I want a decent career.
What's that? Oh, a career, a decent career.
Yeah, but I just don't know what what field like I want to go in because I just feel like the possibilities are endless. So like I just don't want to like limit myself to something just because I think it's easy.
Okay. So I got two questions for you.
Sure.
Right. First one, what is your major?
At the moment, it's community health.
Community health. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Number two, what is your passion? What do you think about all the time? Like, what is that one thing that
Healthcare. I love healthcare.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. So then you know what it is that you need to do. No, seriously. You just answered the two major questions. You know what your major is. You know what you think about all the time. So here's the thing. You want healthcare. What aspect? Like Mariella says she wants to be a nurse. What aspect of healthcare do you want?
I love childcare. I love midwifery.
I love
midwifery.
Midwife?
Midwifery, yeah. It's like being just like delivering babies and stuff.
Okay. So that's called, if I put it correctly, that's called pediatrics.
No, exactly. Like no, to deliver babies,
okay,
you have to be a midwife or like a labor and delivery nurse, basically.
Okay, so
obstetrics.
Thank you. So there you go, obstetrics, right?
Yeah, it falls under that field, but midwifery is like a more, it's like a more specific field. It's like a different area than nursing.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. If you know exactly what you have a passion for,
then why don't I just do it? I have no idea.
No, exactly. Why? Okay, how much time are you putting into researching, studying that specific area? Because there's not a lot of people that say midwifery.
A lot, because I mean, I started it, but then I moved here, so like that's the difference.
Okay, that should not deter you. I just told you I moved from New York to Georgia. I mean, when I got to Georgia, you think I thought that I was gonna be doing this? Not by far. Not by far. The first step is always the scariest step because you don't know what you're doing, right?
Right. And I feel like I'm such a creature of habit. Like if I find something that I'm comfortable in, like I will not move out of it. Like if I feel like this is my zone, like this is gonna be my zone. I'm not gonna try anything else because I just feel like this is easy. I'm gonna just stay with it. You know?
Okay. Let me shake up your comfort zone just a little bit. Okay. Now I mean no disrespect.
That's
None
fine.
whatsoever.
No, that's fine.
Okay. There is it's a scripture that says, I come like a thief in the night, right? So if you knew that somebody was going to come rob your house, if you knew that somebody was going to come stick you up, how much level of comfort does that bring to you?
I wouldn't have none. I'd be like sitting up trying to watch out for them.
Exactly. So why aren't you sitting up trying to watch out for what it is that you want to accomplish?
When you make it seem like that, then like, yeah.
There's not one day, the next day is not promised to no man. No
That is
man,
true.
no man is promised anything in this life. The only thing that's promised to your life, the only thing that you're really entitled to is death. You
That is
can't
true.
get out of this life alive. You gotta die to even leave out this life. So what part of that gives you a comfort zone? What part of that says that, oh, I'm comfortable right here. I'm scared to take a next step. When you were a child, you started walking at the age of 1 year old. Did you even know how to take that first step?
No.
What was the next thing that you did after that first step?
You took another step.
You took another step and another step. What I'm saying is that you didn't know what you were doing. You were operating at a high performance, which required for you to focus. So then, therefore, it's going to take for you to operate a high performance for your midwifery, for you to become that part of healthcare that you want. It's going to require for you to focus. So you can't tell me that you don't know what you want to do. You know exactly what you want to do because you just gave me the answer to everything that I said. It's going to take for you to take the steps to do it. Stop being scared. Stop living in doubt. Stop living in fear. The only thing that's stopping you is you. That's
That
it.
is true. I agree
There's
with
nobody
you.
that's stopping you but yourself. So you do know what you want. You do know how to get it. You're just scared to step out and go do what is necessary to get it. Because I guarantee you this, if there was something happening right now within your house, if let's just say, and I'm just using this as an example, if there was a fire to come, you know how to get your behind up out the house. You know how to go do what you need to do to escape that scenario, right or wrong?
100% right.
Okay, so put the fire under your behind and escape that comfort zone that does not exist because there's
And
no
get
comfort zone
moving.
in this life. Go get what's yours. It's yours. He put it on your heart for a specific reason. I just told you he placed your purpose somewhere deeply. You can tarnish that if you try to. You can tarnish your purpose. You can tarnish your calling. It's there for a reason. He just wants you to go after it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I should hear nothing but good things after this conversation, right or wrong?
Nothing but good things. I agree with you.
All right, so let's go get it. Let's go get it because I'm gonna be the one to tell you can go grab the clouds out the sky if you jump high enough.
I'm gonna aim for them.
Come on, aim for the moon because the moon is sitting in orbit. Can't nobody grab the moon. Let's go for the moon. All right.
Yes, sir. And I'm taking Jose with me.
There you go. There you go. Take everybody on this call with you and let's go get what's yours, man. Everything in life is yours. You gotta just put a stake on it. You gotta put a claim on it. I'm gonna be the #1 top empowerment speaker. I guarantee I will leave my fingerprint on this world. I guarantee that before I leave, my daughter will be good. I guarantee that because I know it's possible. I know what I went through and I know where I came from and I'm still here. And damn it, until the day that my breath expires, I'm going to keep going after it. And that's the same mentality that you got to have. You got to have that go-getter mentality because nothing can stop you but you. I promise you that, my lady. I'll promise you that. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's very appreciated.
All right. So what's that next thing saying? Mental effort is a requirement to achieve your goals. What type of mental effort am I talking about when I say to achieve your goals?
Think positive.
It's got to be deeper than thinking positive. That's just a bare minimum. What is a requirement of mental
Being
effort to
motivated.
achieve your goals?
Being motivated.
Yourself. Stay focused.
Being focused, trusting yourself. Somebody give me another one.
Being
Focus on the
motivated.
goal.
Focus on the goal. Okay. Why do I
Be disciplined.
be disciplined, focus on the goal, stay motivated? What else? What else did I hear?
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. Let me ask y'all a question really quick. Why do you think I asked these questions to you?
So we can think better. They help us in all type of ways.
Not just that, but I ask you these questions because I want you to hear your answer. Because the only way it's going to stick is if you tell yourself that the answer that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
If it's just like what you said, Mariella, like you talk to yourself and you tell yourself what you can accomplish, or you tell yourself that you're not going to stay in that state of depression, or you're not going to allow the negativity to bother you. It's the same thing. When you hear it repetitiously, it sticks more. And if you hear yourself say it, guess what? Let me tell y'all something. The worst person that you can lie to in this life is yourself. You're not lying to me. I'm already doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to do this until the day that the last breath in my body expires. So I get you to tell yourself what it is that you want, because only when you hear it, you can hear yourself say, I'm going to go get that. How many times do you look yourself in the mirror and say, let's go get what's ours? I knew that you can do it, because that's the only person that's waiting on you to show up. But you make them look good every day. You get them dressed, you get them smelling good, you put on the cologne, you put on the body spray, you take a shower, you get yourself dressed right, you out the door, you looking good. But how many times do you focus on this right here? This is the part that he wants to see become the best version of him or her. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yep.
You're not lying to me. You're only lying to yourself if you're not willing to put forth the effort, if you're not willing to cultivate yourself. It's an arduous task to try to do it. And arduous just means that it becomes difficult. But anytime that, like I told you, when you master the mundane, when you focus on the basics and you do it over and over again, that's what makes it better. That's what I'm talking about. Mental effort is that you're saying, I'm disciplined, I'm dedicated, I'm focused. I'm gonna operate at a high performance. I'm gonna become optimal of who I am as an individual, because everything that I want relies on one person. Who is that one person?
Yourself.
That's it. That's it. It don't matter about your moms, no disrespect. It don't matter about your boyfriend, your girlfriend. It don't matter about your kids. Your kids is waiting on you. When they hungry, you gonna go fix them something to eat, right?
Yep.
You're going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that they got clothes, that they got shoes, that they got a roof over their head, right or wrong?
Right.
Does anybody have to show you how to do that?
No.
No.
So why does somebody have to come over and over again and constantly try to motivate you? Motivation is like a battery jump. And if your battery's dead enough, somebody will come and stick those cables and they'll jump your battery. But the battery's only going to last as long as the boost, right?
Yeah.
So nobody should have to motivate you more than you motivate yourself. Nobody should come and tell you that, Mariella, you have what it takes, that Jose, you can accomplish anything that you want, that Limna, you have the ability to get to the level that you foresee on the dean's list or the magnum cum. Nobody has to do that. The only person that should motivate you is you every single day. You know what your challenges are. You know if you're in apathy. You know that if you have anxiety, if you're overwhelmed. You know that if you're in a state of depression. Right now, the Hostos has it. They have resources. They have a counselor. They have a counselor. They have somebody help me outside of the counselor. What do they have? Jason, if you come on.
They have tutoring, writing centers.
Advisors to counselors.
Okay, so everything that you guys, the advisors, counselors, teachers, everything that you guys just said, what are those called? Those are called resources, right or wrong?
Right.
So are you making yourselves resourceful by going and talking to them, by going and building a relationship, a rapport with them? Are you making yourself resourceful? Because the operative word is full. When you take advantage of the resources that's available to you, you become full, right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, so again, you have what's necessary right there. Are you taking advantage of it? Let me share something with y'all. Y'all signed the application when you signed up for school, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that? Somebody tell me what an application is.
Applying for something.
The admission.
Applying for something. Okay. Say again.
Signing for a commitment.
What was that last one? I think it might have been you, Gladys. Tell me.
Admissions. You apply for admission.
Amendment. Okay, that's a good word. That's a good. Okay, you guys go on mute for me for a second. Let me break this down for you really quick. What you signed when you signed up for college was a contract. If anybody knows anything about a contract is two-sided. It says what you're going to do for the school, and it also says what the school is going to do and provide for you, right? So that means that you are upholding your side of the contract by going to class every day, by paying your fees, by paying attention to the professor, by taking the test. That's all part of the contract. On the other side of the contract, Hostos said that you have access to advisors, you have access to counselors, you have access to tutors, you have access to the resources that we will provide for you. And at the end of it, we will give you a degree, right? So therefore, when you sign a contract, let's take it to the music side. When an artist signs the contract, what's the number one thing he wants? He wants the money that comes with it, right? He wants everything that comes with it, with that, the benefits of it. But here's the thing, the contract, when they give you that advance, you got to pay that back. They want that money back. So then therefore, Hostos wants a return on the investment that it's making into you. So you should want the biggest investment, you should want the biggest return on the investment that you're making into yourself. Because if you signed up for a student loan, there was a third party that said, I'm going to give you this money. That third party was Sally Mae, right or wrong?
Yeah.
Sally Mae gave you money to go to school, right? At the end of it, guess what? Sally Mae say, I want all that money back. What's that called? Student loans. That's called debt. That's called, you got to pay me every month until you get out of debt. That's a contract. So do you want a return on your investment? And here's the thing, you are the return on your investment. You, nobody else. Ain't nobody gonna sit in that class and take them tests for you. Ain't nobody gonna stay with you late night and help you study. Ain't nobody gonna turn in them assignments. You gotta do it. So you gotta be the one who wants the return on the investment. Nobody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just a street dude from New York. That's it. But I know the game. I know the game. The game don't change. It don't change in business. It don't change on the street. It's the game. It's the process. When you learn the process, you know how to play this game so that you win. That's it. Hands down. High performance requires focus. Mental effort is a requirement to achieve your goals. The same way that I was out there on the street hustling is the same way that I put forth a mental effort to hustle in this game right here. It don't change. It don't change. I'm still getting checks. They just legal. I'm still traveling the country. I just do it for free now. You feel me? What part of the game has changed? Because my daughter still got to eat. I still got to eat. My daughter still got to live. Your kids still got to live. You still got to get a roof over your head. Right or wrong, y'all? Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
You're right.
You're right.
So at the end of the day, there's only one person that you should be looking at to say, let's go get this check. Let's go get it. That's it. The person that you make look good in the mirror every day is looking back at you saying, when you gonna make me look good? You feel me? Cultivation.
Yes.
Come on, y'all. I'm not just here for no reason. I'm telling you, I've been through something and I'm giving you life lessons, hands down. Hands down. Now, if you want me to give it to you in the street faction, I can give it to you that way too. Which way you want it? I like this way better. Which way you really want it? All right, number 2. What's that say?
The challenge or
challenge
solution are both sides of a coin.
So that means that the challenge and the solution are both sides of who you are, right? You are the only solution that you will ever have, and you're the only solution that you will ever need. That's it. Hands down. You got to ask yourself, are you willing to flip that coin? Are you willing to see what's on the other side of you to make yourself better? And it all starts with you flipping your mindset. It's all on you saying that I can no longer stay on this side of the coin. Have you ever slept and like it'd be a hot night and you flip that pillow over and it's a cool side of the pillow and you get all cool? Okay, so it's the same thing with your life. Life is just waiting on you to flip the other side to see what's on the other side of the coin. Because you know what the challenge is. What is the number one challenge that you guys are having right now? Somebody just tell me the challenge.
Lack of guidance.
Lack of guidance. What's the solution?
Reaching out to individuals who've been in the place that I'm at.
So is it really a challenge?
No, it's just me being lazy.
That's it. I'm glad that you said lazy because that's the number one thing. It's called procrastination. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something, Jose. And this is something that a homeboy told me a long time ago. Stop looking for a handout. The only handout that you should be looking for is at the end of your own arm. That's the only hand that you get. That's the only handout that you have. And you have 2 hands. So therefore, you should be doing everything that you can to get the guidance that you need. Right? I know at the beginning of this conversation, Jason said, come by his office. How many times have you gone by his office?
Oh, me and Jason are like best friends now. So I'm trying to get in there now.
How many times have you had that conversation with Jason to say that you have misguidance?
I mean, I don't really get personal with
See?
people. So,
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I tend to close up. I don't like getting personal with people.
Why?
I don't know why. I can't let myself get too personal or let people into my personal life for some reason. I don't know why.
Let me tell you something. It feels weird to me. Let me tell you something, big homie. I just gave you everything about me. Everything about me.
Yeah, that takes courage. I can't do it yet. I can't put my hands on. I can't get myself to do it yet, but I'm trying. I'm trying.
Let me tell you something. Nothing beats a fail but a try. So if you don't get I remember, and Jason, can I say this the way I need to say this just one time?
I haven't stopped you yet, Mars.
All right. So listen, Jose, when I was growing up, there was a saying, either you shit or you get off the pot. So what you gonna do? Because you can't sit on the pot forever.
I get it. I gotta shit. I gotta do it.
Are you constipated?
No.
Well, then get your ass up off that pot and go get what's yours. Because you playing, big dog. And I see something that you don't see. I see the greatness that's inside of you that you feel is already there. I know, because you know how I know? Because I'm talking to your spirit. I know you feel me. I know your spirit is radiating right now. I know that. I could tell because of that big smile. You got a big Kool-Aid smile. Hey, Kool-Aid. Stop playing with me. Stop playing, Jose. Go get what's yours. Get off the toilet and go get it, because it's not going to be handed out to you. Everything that you want is on the other side of that challenge. You just told me what the solution was. Go get it.
No, yeah, I got it. I got you.
All right. Come on now. Don't just tell me that, oh, I got you. I got you.
I'm being for real. I'm going to go chase it. I'm going to get it. I promise you.
You hit me with that old shut up, big homie. I don't want to hear that no more. Come on, dog. I know this. I know this. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. I'm telling you, when you open up, you're gonna see the world open up to you. I promise you that. And I can tell you that from experience. When you open up, the world opens up to you. The more that you stay closed, the more the world is closed off to you because it says that you're not ready. You feel me?
No, yeah.
All right, let's go get it.
Man, thank
Next
you.
one. What's the next one say?
Be
Me, you want me to
firm.
read it? Oh,
Yeah.
Fix your intentions.
Be firm and fixed with your intentions. What are your intentions?
to be great.
What is greatness?
I mean, for me, it's just making my father proud. That's what it's about for me. Just making him proud and, you know, just doing what he wants me to do, being on the right path.
All right, so I'm gonna give you that. So stay fixed on that intention for what you want. So here's my closing story. So I took the plane back from New York Sunday, right? And my mother retired from Delta. So I have the opportunity of getting a buddy pass and flying whenever I want to. I called my mother before I had left to go to New York. And she was trying to tell me about the days to fly. And I was like, Mom, don't worry about it. I'm gonna be okay. So I was able to get out on Friday, had a phenomenal weekend. Sunday come. I get to the airport. And they kept saying that I wasn't gonna get on the flight, right? They kept saying, like, oh, you're not gonna make this flight. So sometimes you have to make an executive decision, and you got to be willing to stick with the decision that you make, whether it's good or bad. So I went up to the counter, and they was like, well, what you can do is you can upgrade the flight. And I was like, well, how much is it gonna cost for me to upgrade the flight? They said, well, we can't tell you that. You have to contact Delta reservations. So I contacted Delta reservations. The dude was like, all right, so we got 2 open seats for the flight that you can get on at 10 o'clock. Now I've been at the airport since about 2:30. We had lunch, we did that, we kicked it, whatever. So I know that you have to arrive early to go through the whole TSA, that whole garbage or whatever. So I'm sitting in the airport, and it was just like, okay, I need to figure out how I'm gonna do this. So when I contacted them, they was like, okay, in order for you to upgrade, you could take a first class flight. It's gonna cost you $1,200. You could take a regular seat, which is gonna cost you $500, basically $600. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, this. So you telling me there's no other chance for me to get on this plane outside of what I need to do? He was like, nah. He was like, matter of fact, you only got 1 seat left because somebody just booked that 1 seat. So I was like, okay, if I don't get this, then I'm gonna be stuck in the airport because I'm not gonna call my daughter to come back and get me. So I was like, yo, let's just go ahead and book that flight. So it came to a point where I was so fixed on the intention that I had to get back to Atlanta because I knew what I had to do in the upcoming week. I had to get back to business. I couldn't allow myself to sit in New York and just be on a lap of luxury because that's not what I'm focused on right now. I'm focused on making sure that I build this from the ground up. So he was like, all right, well, you could think on it if you need to. I said, bruh, I don't have time to think on it. I said, if somebody just bought that ticket, then I need to buy the next ticket. I said, yo, it's executive decision time. Let me go ahead and buy that ticket. So I had to end up paying $600 for a ticket that I already had. But because of the fact that I knew I wasn't going to get back here in time, I had to go ahead and make the decision because I was firm and fixed with that intention to get back to Atlanta. I couldn't stay in New York no more because not only was I paying for just the ticket, I was paying for parking. I was paying for, the time that I was there. My daughter needed money. Everything was costing. So it became a more costly trip for me. So every time that you don't make a firm and a fixed decision on the intentions that you want, just think of how much money you wasted. Ask yourself this: how much do you charge an hour? What does your time cost per hour? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My time per hour costs $5,000 an hour. Hands down. So if I'm not doing something within that hour or within that time frame to equal up to the 5,000, I'm wasting time and I'm wasting money. If you know that you're paying your student loans and you know that Sally Mae wants a return on the investment, and you know that Hostos is costing you a certain amount per semester, you have to equate that as your hourly time. What do you want to make per hour? What do you want for this? Is what I'm saying. A high performance requires focus. What do you want? What are you trying to achieve? What are you looking to accomplish? What are you willing to put forth the effort to accomplish within your life? Because once you get your degree, what's next? Once you graduate, what's next? And at that point in time, guess what? You don't have advisors, you don't have counselors, you don't have tutors, you don't have anybody that can come and give you a hand. You know what you have? You have your two hands, and you have this thing called life. That's it. And if you're not looking for the next thing, then you're already holding yourself back for what you can accomplish, for what you can achieve. And if you ain't willing to grow your mindset, if you ain't willing to develop yourself, then you're gonna keep yourself in a place where you desolate and you stay in a place of lack. So ask yourself truly tonight, not right now on this call. I want you to sit and I want you to meditate. What do I really want for my life? And I want you to write down 10 goals that you want for your life. Write down 10 goals that you are striving to accomplish within the next 12 months. And I want you to put that up on your wall. And I want you to look at it every single day. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it going to take for me to accomplish that first goal? What's it going to take for me to accomplish the second goal? What's it going to take for me to accomplish everything that's on this list? And once you start with the first one, you're going to see that it's going to be easier to go to the next one and the next one and the next one. But it starts with the way that you look at it. It all starts with your mentality. It starts with the way that you focus on the things that you want to accomplish. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to give you anything. Nobody. Everybody under the sound of my voice right here is an adult. If you 18 and older, guess what? You an adult. If you can enroll into the military, you an adult. If you can go and fight wars, you are an adult. Just because you can't pop a liquor bottle like legally, that don't mean that you're not an adult. Because at the end of the day, somebody's coming back for what you owe them. What do you want to owe yourself? And the only way you can get it is by the development and cultivation of your mindset, because that's everything in this life. You'll always live here. Always. You can be 50 years old right here and not grow. Or you could be 20 years old right here and grow. But guess what? You'll never have another one of these. But you can always cultivate it and grow it. You feel me? Always cultivate it and grow it. Never let nobody tell you what you cannot accomplish. Because at the end of the day, it's life, y'all. It's the Learning Institute for Experience. I'm your boy, Mars Bishop. If y'all want to have an open discussion, we have a couple minutes left, right, Jason? Oh,
No,
no.
you went over Mars, but that's cool.
I'm sorry,
You
y'all.
did a great job. You were inspirational. As always, thank you very much. I want to thank you for being here. Let's give it up for Mars with a good round of applause. However you want to do that, you can do it electronically. You can do it with like real hands and the whole thing. Mars, I want to thank you. I was listening. People were texting me in the background saying, wow, this is awesome. Sending me messages underneath in the chat. So really inspired myself. I loved hearing the story about you talking to your daughter about her nose. Because I got a daughter, and if she ever comes to me and tells me she wants a nose job, I'm going to tell her exactly what you told your daughter. You're messing with the perfection that I worked on all that time. Won't be getting a nose job. Anyway, and you know, I give Jose credit. I have to say, you know, he has sought advice from me, and a number of people on here have done that as well. But I want to also say this to you. You know, Mars is right. This is your journey. Nobody's going to point you in the direction that you have to go or kick your butt more than you are to get to the places that you want to go. But I can promise you that in the time that we know each other here and the time that we know each other moving forward, that I'll be the second biggest fan that you have. Maybe your mom's going to fit there, you know, before me, because moms generally do. But I'm gonna shout you out. I'm gonna blow up your spot. I'm gonna be supportive of you in every one of your efforts. And I can tell you this because, you know, just in the last week here, in the, just in the background of doing the job that I do. People from the past have come on, asked me for a favor. I've taken phone calls to recommend people from 10 years ago, from 2 years ago. I gave a shout out to somebody who graduated in 2007, like 2 months after I got to the college, and still supporting her. I didn't even really get to know her like I get to know some of you folks. So I'm here for you. I'm supportive of you. But again, the whole thing about this is you get to choose the type of person that you want to be. You get to choose the type of career and life that you want to have. And you get to choose what type of leader you want to be. So when we come together and we talk about leadership training and Leadership Academy, there's no one focus of the Leadership Academy. And that's Marz and I had these conversations when he planned out these workshops and we looked at what we were doing, and we had the conversation when we first started, and we follow up on it. And the thing is that you have to determine the type of leader that you want to be for your own life, whether that's in your home, whether that's out on the street, whether that's in a position of power or authority, or whether that's just, taking on a lead role in your community, right? Planting a tree is powerful. It's powerful. It's a legacy. It leaves a longer impression upon anybody and everybody than a word you say or an action that you take. I'll tell you this from my own experience. I know those are powerful things. Your actions and your words are very powerful. But you plant a tree in a park that didn't have a tree, and you pass that park 10, 15, 20 years after you planted it, you realize that tree has given oxygen, given life, given back to the community, given shade, given something to people who you never ever will meet, will never ever hear your word, never ever look at your actions. But you made an impression on them because you planted a tree in a garden that they can now call paradise. So I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank you, Marz. You are always inspirational to me. I love you. And next time you come to New York, I hope you'll visit me in person.
Yes,
and
sir.
we can grab a coffee or something.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, everybody who was on this call, I hope that you really took something from today. And I do hope that you follow, Marz's homework instruction, right? Go write those 10 things down, put them on your wall. Make sure you look at them every day. And when you get to cross one of those things off, share it with us. Share it with Marz, share it with me, share it with the people who love you and care about you, support you. Let them know that you made that extra stride. Let them know that you accomplished that goal. Let them know that you took that step forward in a place where you were hesitant, where you didn't know that you were actually going to be able to do it. Because you know what? That's what leadership is all about. Taking that step, leading yourself out of the places that you've been and taking yourself to the places that you're supposed to go. And by far, I believe every single person on this call, every single member of our group from the past and today is doing that. And I'll take pride with you in those accomplishments. So thank you again for being here. As I do at the end of all of our workshops.
Hold on,
Jason.
Jason, before you close out really quick, let me just say this to you guys. If you guys link up with me on social media, I definitely will connect with you and follow you back. And if you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. And if there's anything that you want to ask me, you know what I'm saying? I definitely will give you the insight that you may be looking for. All right. So I'm not one of these people where you know what I'm saying? I'm all about followers. Let's connect. Let's have a conversation. Thank you again, Jason.
Thank you, Marz. Thank you. Have a good weekend, Ashley, Jose, Leighton, Gladys, Casey, Estelle, Maria, Jessica, Ria, Mariella, Brian, Annie, Bridget, Sue, Prina, Lamina, Francine, Abby, Elizabeth, and everybody else who's on the call. Love you. See you next week. We've got another great workshop next week. Marz, stay safe.
You too, sir.
To you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Happy weekend, Mr. Jason.
great
Thank you so
weekend.
much.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right.
Later.
Take care.
Bye.